Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. Virgil van Dijk slams disrespectful Arne Slot question and explains Liverpool squad stance. Second news is national media react as Arne Slot issues perfect response to bizarre Liverpool moment. Now details. Virgil van Dijk has hit out at a disrespectful question for Arne Slot that saw the Liverpool boss asked if Xabi Alonso had contacted him over taking his job at Anfield. And the Reds captain insists the entire squad remain behind their head coach after a 3-0 win over Marseille in the Champions League, left them well placed to secure qualification to the knockout stages. Slot, whose side are now unbeaten in 13 games dating back to the end of November, was asked in his pre-match press conference on Tuesday in France if Alonso, who was relieved of his duties at Real Madrid earlier this month, had spoken to him about succeeding him in the Anfield hot seat. The Reds boss laughed it off, insisting it was one of the weirdest he had ever fielded in his career, and while Liverpool later chose not to place an official ban on the specific reporter, it is understood there were plans not to answer any further lines of questioning from that particular journalist had they been asked in the post-match press conference. "I think that was very disrespectful," Van Dijk said after the win. "Criticism is part of the game, we all know that, but I think it is also a reason why he, the journalist, is not here at the game. I think criticism is part and parcel for us. That's what we live with, and it's absolutely justified if you look at what we are doing in the season, unfortunately for us, especially based on last season. I think we always work hard on things we can improve, but we also don't forget that with all the changes in the summer, with different faces and style of players, different combinations you have to find, training helps with that, matches even more. So it's been a very difficult part of the season for us players, and the manager as well, but in my opinion he handled it very well. At the end of the day, we are in a results business, and we all get judged, players, the manager and everyone involved with the results, and that is what we are working on to improve on a consistent basis. We were all disappointed in the fact we dropped points against Burnley, but also then we have to discuss why we dropped points as we had so many chances, and then they had maybe one or two and scored, and the reality is you drop points, and that's frustrating. It's how you react 4 days later, and we had a good performance offensively and defensively, and now it is important how we react to this because Bournemouth will make it very difficult for us, especially at their place. It is definitely difficult, but also because of the fact we don't have that consistency that we had last year, yet. Hopefully we will find it ASAP. That is something we work on, but you also need no injuries, and that unfortunately we have. It's a combination of everything, but the only thing we can do, and will do, is try to find that consistency, and there's a good chance every 3 to 4 days. Now it is down to us, not only the starting side but everyone as a whole, to go to Bournemouth and be ready for a big fight as well, and show the best Liverpool we can be because we can be very good. Liverpool will qualify for the knockout stages of the European Cup with a positive result against Azerbaijan side Karabag next week, and Van Dijk added, "If you're not hopeful as a Liverpool player or fan and don't have a little bit of something to look forward to, then obviously that's an issue. Personally, I'm very hopeful. I enjoy being part of the club and difficult days will always be there. It's how you deal with it, and I think we will get there. I'm not worried about that. I see the progress we are making, but that has also been in many other games we have played this season. Consistency is the thing which probably gives you at the end of the season silverware or success, and that's something we still have to look for. Today was a good day for us. I'm pleased for the fans that travelled all the way here who were outstanding, but 3 points, nothing more, and we move on. Home tomorrow, fly to Bournemouth on Friday, then we play Bournemouth, and then we train Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, and then Champions League again. It's like every 3 or 4 days you have to be there and not get carried away. Today was a good day, but that's it." Second news is national media react as Arne Slot issues perfect response to bizarre Liverpool moment. Now that was much more like it. Liverpool once again highlighted their love for Europe this season when they moved on to 13 games unbeaten in all competitions with an impressive 3-0 win at Marseille on Wednesday evening. After Dominic Szoboszlai netted a clever free-kick at the end of the first half, Jeremy Frimpong forced an own goal from home goalkeeper Geronimo Rulli before substitute Cody Gakpo secured the triumph late on. It made for an enjoyable night. And while the Echo was in attendance and provided our usual level of coverage, here's how the national media viewed a positive result for Arne Slot's side. Paul Joyce, formerly of this parish, wrote in the Times that while Mohamed Salah returned, Liverpool no longer overly rely on the Egyptian. Mohamed Salah was back, he pens. Back in a red shirt, back seeking to drive opponents rather than his manager to distraction, and back in a winning Liverpool team. Arne Slot has had little to truly savour of late, so he would have enjoyed the wave, and thumbs up at the final whistle to the away supporters gathered in a corner of the Stade Velodrome. There are different players to the fore now, which meant the returning Salah's fingerprints were not all over a victory that should have been more emphatic against Marseille, but he played his part. A glorious chance to add another layer of gloss to proceedings was spurned by the attacker, yet after everything that transpired at the end of last year, when he was a ball of anger, this felt like progress. Whatever Liverpool's domestic travels, their Champions League campaign rolls on far more serenely. The margin of Liverpool's 9th win in 11 European away games could have been greater, but struggled to turn possession into chances and chances into wins of late. Slot could take satisfaction from a comprehensive triumph all the same. Gomez, deputising for the absent Ibrahima Konate, delivered an accomplished display alongside Virgil van Dijk as the Liverpool captain made his 350th appearance for the club. Liverpool played with confidence and composure at a passionate Stade Velodrome, where the noise started cranking up an hour and a half before kickoff and never let up. Slot deployed the midfield diamond formation that worked effectively in his team's last European outing, away at Inter, but unlike that night at San Siro, there was a place for Mohamed Salah. The Egypt international, dropped against Inter as a consequence of that explosive interview at Leeds, was straight back in the starting lineup following his return from the Africa Cup of Nations. Lewis Steele of the Daily Mail, who found Liverpool embarrassing at the weekend, was far more enthused this time. They have had blemishes in Europe, such as an embarrassing 4-1 defeat to PSV Eindhoven and a rather smash-and-grab loss at Galatasaray, but the Reds have flourished on the European stage this season, he opines. Sporadically placed alongside a rather drab domestic campaign have been victories over Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Inter and now Marseille, the midweek nights acting as a tonic to shoddy performances in the Premier League. And this was another win that Slot will take credit for. The Dutchman spent his pre-match press conference in France talking about how Marseille boss Roberto De Zerbi is one of the best managers in the world, and batting off a bizarre question over whether he thought Xabi Alonso would replace him as Liverpool boss. Clearly, Slot is not exactly flavour of the month right now, but there are many merits to his management, and one at the very top of that list should be victories like this. Finally, the tall man Paul Gorst was there for the echo, and points to how matters have been a little confusing for Liverpool at present. It's been a curious time for the Reds in recent months, which has presented a succession of jarring juxtapositions that go some way to explaining why there has been so much unrest and discord, he says. They are the current Premier League champions, who had only won half of their 32 games across all competitions before kickoff. They are now unbeaten in 13 games, but 6 of them have been draws. Mohamed Salah is the leading scorer of the 21st century who, in his own words, has been thrown under the bus by the club. The contrasts, wherever you look, have been startling.